Thought I was done for the day, uh, but I guess not. This trade deadline's still insane. We all forgot about the Brandon Ingram trade. Brandon Ingram has been dealt to the Toronto Raptors for Bruce Brown, Kelly Olynyk, and a first. I'm recording this as I'm seeing it. This came out, I think, like 2 minutes ago. Um, so I'm still kind of waiting for other updates, but I don't really understand Bruce Brown and Kelly Olynyk on the Pelicans. That doesn't really. I feel like those are two guys that could be bought out. Maybe. I don't really know. I also have never really understood the Raptors wanting him. I guess that's another thing that I've always kind of questioned. Like, what does the fit of Scotty Barnes, Brandon Ingram, and let me go look at the depth. Yeah, I guess is what I'm talking about. Like the depth chart just doesn't really make any sense to add Brandon Ingram. Emmanuel Quickly's having a really good year. Grady Dick, I mean, he's had a year. He's young, so you're not expecting too much out of him. Maybe you put him to the bench, put RJ Barrett in the two, Brandon Ingram at the one. I don't really know. That's kind of a weird um, line, the weird starting five at least. And you traded Kelly Olynyk too, so now all of a sudden you don't really have a backup center. It's weird too because I thought the Raptors were going to end up being sellers at this deadline. I thought Jakob Poeltl was going to be a guy that could be traded. He's had a really good year. Um, I thought Chris Boucher would be a guy that would be traded. Obviously, Bruce Brown and Kelly Olynyk were another two of those names, but um, I don't know. This is kind of a weird trade. I ever since the rumor came out that the Raptors wanted Brandon Ingram, I've never really understood why. Especially with the idea that the Raptors really aren't a contending team. And giving up a first, and I just realized it said that they're giving up a second as well. They're giving up two picks, a first round pick and a second round pick for Brandon Ingram, who's on an expiring deal. We don't know if he'll resign. I'm sure he will. I'm sure they had those conversations. Um, I don't know. It doesn't really make sense to me. The Raptors are not a team that I would say I would have guessed that would be in the market for Brandon Ingram. I was expecting him to be in conversations for contenders. Let me look at the standings real quick. I guess this is like what's so confusing about it. Like I haven't watched much Raptors basketball this year. They just aren't a team that I've been very entertained by. But they're 16 and 35, and I know they've had their injury issues. I know RJ Barrett's been hurt. I know Jakob Poeltl's been injured. Or at least it's said on the depth chart that he was out. I know they've had their injury problems. Scotty Barnes hasn't stayed healthy all year. Like I know that, but that doesn't mean that that a lot of people have ever seen the Raptors as a true contender in the Eastern Conference. I've kind of just been looking at this lineup for a little bit now, and I actually don't hate it too much. I think that it's a weird fit, but I don't think it's that bad. There's definitely a lot of offense being generated here. There's definitely defense also, but huh. I guess this is just kind of a weird fit. Like no one really I don't know. It just hmm. Well, because then they have Jamal Shed, Jacoby Walter, who I like both of those players. Mobo, Orlando Robinson, Davian Mitchell, Ochai Agbaji. Boucher did not play. Yeah, Garrett Temple did not play either. Okay, so here's my takeaway from this: the Raptors are 100% going to be making moves to sell some play. Yeah, all I can really say about this Raptors team is that they have guys that contenders probably like. Jakob Poeltl's a guy that has been rumored in trade discussions. Obviously, the Lakers need a center. The Nuggets need a backup center. Valanciunas just got traded to the Kings, so people have probably shifted their focus. Chris Boucher has been rumored to a bunch of different teams, and he was out today because of an illness, which that's always vague, and a lot of people always speculate on stuff like that. But I mean, I don't know. They have gettable pieces, and I think Bruce Brown and Kelly Olynyk were also part of that. And I could see them getting bought out later down the line. Let's actually look at the Pelicans. Actually, this is another really weird lineup, and I've already talked about it in one of my past videos. But huh. I it's just weird. Like Bruce Brown kind of fits, I guess. Kelly Olynyk does fit because I mean you obviously don't want Carlo to play too many minutes. He's not that good, but at the same time, the Pelicans also are not a competing team for a championship. And I feel like both. It's just weird because I feel like both of these teams are fighting to be mid, and I just don't really understand. I think that this trade is just very weird. It's not a shocker. I think the Raptors got better. I think the Pelicans got better. I think this is a win for both teams. I mean, the Raptors got a first and a second for, or not the Raptors. The Pelicans got a first and a second round pick for an expiring contract that literally told them he was going to leave. So it's kind of weird. And obviously, as a Nuggets fan, okay, I would love Bruce Brown. I would absolutely love if the Nuggets decided to go for Bruce Brown. And so that's kind of what I'm hoping for. But for real, like for the rest of the league, I think Bruce Brown is very much a buyout candidate. There's a lot of people talking about the Pelicans are probably going to buy out Bruce Brown. He's on an expiring contract, and if he comes back to Denver, he'd probably sign for cheap. Um, Sorry, that's just my bias side taking over. Um, Same thing with Kelly Olynyk. I'm going to go look at his contract really quick. Okay, so Kelly Olynyk is about $13 million a year for this year and next year, so he wouldn't be a buyout candidate. Um, so that's weird. I mean, I'm not going to talk too much about Kelly Olynyk. He could be. I mean, he could get flipped somewhere else for all I know, but Bruce Brown's situation is interesting because he just after the Nuggets championship, he kind of was seen as like this phenomenal role player, and he hasn't really lived up to that. He was a perfect fit on the Nuggets, and then he went to I where did he go right after that? It was the Pacers. He went to the Pacers and then ended up getting traded to the Raptors that season. Um, yeah, I don't know. This is a weird trade. Raptors definitely got better. Um, the Pelicans. I mean, we'll see what they do with Bruce Brown. But I mean, you got rid of an expiring contract and got a couple picks back. So Raptors, get Brandon Ingram. Let me know what you think.